My name is Chris Naika, and I'm a director at Kiota School. What inspired us to start Kiota School? It's a bit of a long story, so I hope you have time for it. It goes back. I'm an architect by profession, so it goes back to architecture school. My wife and I met in architecture school, and we were doing a study. In our 6th year, you have to do a thesis which you submit for approval. And funny enough, I had my thesis approved, but Emma had not gotten approval for her thesis. And in those days, you would get, if you don't have approval, you literally have to repeat the entire year. So it was that serious. So I remember she came to see me and asked me, what do we do? What can I do? What can I submit? And since we were tight on time, I told her, how about if we play on the thesis topic that I have submitted, but you submit and study the same area, but in your area of interest. Because you see, Emma used to teach at Kianda School during the gap years in university. And so I told her, so do something about schools. And so there was born the study about the architecture of education spaces and schools, and can they contribute to the wellness of children? Can the environment that we put a student in school contribute to their well-being, to their grades, to their performance in school? And so Emma did that study. You won't believe what mine is. Mine was the architecture of prisons. So, Michael Scofield, you're not running away from my prison. I know how to design one. But anyway, it was about correctional facilities and how we can design correctional facilities to achieve the objective of correction, not just punishment. And I remember after we graduated on graduation day, we joked about it, and I said, you know what, maybe we'll not be able to build a prison in future, but so much has gone into this study of the architecture of schools that we have to build a school one day. And that was how the dream sort of was born, and it was packed. And then, as it said, maybe opportunity meets preparedness. Along the way, we met a friend who had a property that was formerly a school, and it was in the market. And that was sort of 10 years down the line. And we had a discussion about our interest in starting and running a school. And that's how Kiota was born. So the rest is history. That's a very high-level summary of that story. Maybe with time, I think I should write a book. There is a lot to it. Yeah. So I think at the core of what we're trying to do at Kiota, and that's why we go out of our way to do beyond things that are beyond the classroom, is because we want to impact community. And if you impact community, you impact the society, and you change the country. That really is what we're trying to do. We're trying to address values, we're trying to address leadership. Yes, we are trying to address intellect as well. And that's part of what our vision is, to be the leading institution that nurtures young minds to make the world a better place. That's really in our interest. At the end of the day, we want to have people. We call them the Kiota child. Someone who has come through Kiota has to have a certain aura about them, has to have certain values, has to espouse the thinking behind Kiota, which is, to be a critical thinker, to be kind, to be a leader, to be collaborative, and so on and so forth. And so when we started that dream of Kiota, of course, there is more to it. After we started on the journey, I brought in a friend of mine called Paul and Judy, and so we are 4 directors at Kiota, myself, Emma, and Paul and Judy. And you have to pick people that you're of the same mind, you are of the same thinking. When you sit and discuss about the vision and the mission of the school, you are quite clear. And so we're quite clear from the word go that we are a Christian institution. So we go by biblical principle and by Christian principles. And that's also part of what we want to impart in the children. And so in the last 10 years, we have tried to do it using academics and using other different programs that will impact the children. And so we want to touch on everyone who is around the child. That is why we do parental training. That's why we do nanny training. And of course, we do the training of the child, and we train the teachers, then we train the community, and we participate together as a community in raising the child. We're really going back to the basic principle where we used to say that the children are brought up by the village. Yeah? But then that village has to be equipped to know how to bring up that child. And that's the journey we are on. It's been an interesting 10-year journey. There's been ups and downs, but largely we are grateful for the support we receive from parents. We're grateful to God because of all the breakthroughs we've had as a school. There have been very many positive stories. You know, the thing about a school, even as opposed to my profession and the things I'm doing, it brings you a lot of joy and satisfaction when you see the impact you're having on children, you know, and they're really on the journey to change the world, to make the world a better place. Yeah. There have been many memorable events, certainly. Maybe one of the key ones is when we were moving to this particular location here at Kasuku campus, where we host our primary section, because now we have 3 campuses. We started at Dennis Pritt campus, our kindergarten, and then we grew into the primary section at Nyangumi Road, just down the road, and then later that grew into Kasuku campus, where we are. And the Kasuku campus is crazy because there was a time we did not sleep for 3-4 days because we took over the premises or the property. I remember it was on December 11th, and we had to have a school by the next month on January 7th. So you can imagine how hard we had to work to turn it around and make sure our children can come in. And so yeah, that was quite memorable because I saw teamwork, I saw dedication. The entire team put in more than 100% to make sure that we could have a school by January 7th when we were opening. Everybody just pulled together. I remember we absolutely had no Christmas holiday that year or New Year's. We were here busy working, and yeah, it was really tough, but we managed to pull it off. So that was quite something, because we still remember it to this day and laugh about it. It's a great memory. For the next 10 years, I gladly, a lot of the children we started with are still with us, and so it's really a joy to watch them grow and watch them go on that journey to be world changers. And we want to continue supporting them as we bring in, new teachers, new children, new parents into the fold, and just to stay true to the values in a changing world where people are confused about many things today. We want to stay true to our values despite the pressures of the world. We want to trace true to our Christian principles, our background as a school, and what we want to achieve. That will really address the next 10 years and beyond, because now we're growing vertically and we want to, get into high school, and who knows, God willing, get into tertiary institutions and institutions of higher learning. So watch this space. Kiota, as an educator, is here to stay, and Kiota wants to do so much more. And the key thing is, we want to make the world a better place. That's really, really important to us. We're not, of course, at the end of the day, you want to do something that is useful, but it is at the core of what we do. It's not about money, it's about how do we impact the world. That's what we want to focus on in the next 10 years.